We suggested it earlier.
Sure. You'll tell that to her.
Now,
Brother.
Well, now the question is reassigning who I'll be working on for next week.
And then, is that everyone who was wounded who's taking their things? Alaric, did you have any? Nope.
I only
Didn't
had
seem to have
injuries.
any. All right. Well, then that is it. People are getting better. Bree Bree and Keys are the worst off people right now.
Well, seeing Bree in this, Ren is
You don't see shit. You shut your fucking
fine.
mouth.
Fine. Sure.
Does she inform anyone?
That's what I think of you seeing shit with my deception test.
That wrecked arm. Like
Fine.
trouble
Fine,
moving.
sure.
It's like,
Fine, sure. My treatment can stay on these two.
Right.
I'm not being told otherwise, so there we go.
She'll be fine.
She doesn't want me to treat her. I'm not.
Does Bree bring it to attention of anyone?
Oh, that's her deception.
Right. She tries to keep it away from people.
Yes.
All right. Well, no one's really paying super much attention to her. If she doesn't make noise about her wound, well, they kind of seem to think that maybe it's not really that bad, as that's what she indicates. And none of them are doctors. We're used to little girls generally. Mensa does do that thing though, where he rides up next to her and tells her story and then punches her arm to, at some dramatically appropriate point to almost knock her off.
Bree will tell her that if he does that again, she's getting off the horse.
Oh. That puts a rare dampener on his mood.
Oh, Mansa.
She will just sort of slow down a bit and, just sort of shake it off. But he'll stop telling the stories as much as you apparently don't enjoy them. Maybe not now, at least.
No, the shining optimism is still there to an extent, and now it's like my body will get better. This is just. It's just a thing that's happening, I survived the bone way. I could survive this too.
Huh. Food is scarce, to say the least. And when you reach the lowlands, it doesn't seem to get that much better. The first village you reach is just sort of burned down rubble, as it has clearly been, well, by the closeness to the sea, you can sort of see it from here, probably raided by Iron Men. It is known to you that the fleet of the Westerlands is keeping Lannisport and the area south of that, the sort of little breadbasket of the Westerlands, safe, while these sort of remote villages out here by the sea don't really get any attention at all. There's just small folk there, and they don't really pay anything. The money comes from the gold, and the food comes from down south. They don't get priority for defense. As such, most of them have abandoned their little towns, as they do in wartime, seeking further into the mountains, taking everything they have with them, or they've been caught by the raiding people, trying to basically stay on their fleet out there in the sea. The Iron Men don't really bring that much food with them, instead just filling it with the soldiers, and then they go and raid the land for the food that they need. It seems this land has been raided a bit dry out here. Luckily, though you could perhaps have encountered some of these raiders, you don't. The travel does take some time, though it does go faster than the mountains. The road not as winding anymore. And after it seems like people you get out of the real area where people are looking for you specifically, people are probably still looking for you, but not really in the same capacity as before. Perhaps the just confusion about there certainly not really being a commanding officer back at Castamere has made a problem. Perhaps the message has simply gone to Lannisport, where the current Lannister would have very little reason to really pursue you a whole damn lot. He can blame it on his ineptitude, perhaps. Anyway, most of the important people now are either with you or with an army somewhere, far away, unconcerned, thinking that Lew Tyrell is in good hands at Castamere. No one would ever come and get him. How would they survive? Not counting for, well, the perhaps arrogance and bravado that being a young knight, a knight who has not yet experienced real war, can bring. Certainly not something that the Reach is unfamiliar with. So, as the other travel here, I would like you to, those of you who have to heal people, and of course Bree with her wounds, to do another test. There's no strenuous activity here. You're on horseback, which gives you the sort of moderate, just the light even activity. Light or no activity. As the test is now just a 6.
A 6.
Yes. You're on horseback. Nothing much is really going on here. That's an injury, though.
Yeah,
9. Yeah.
I'd say that's incredibly low. What divine powers are helping us?
So Rain, Sir Rain, if you would begin.
Yes. I guess we'll do the same order as
Which
before.
one of us?
I know which Serene.
The one taking care of the wounded people.
Yeah, you're not. You're running out of people to treat now, I think.
I'm running out of
people.
people.
Actually, getting kind of okay. Yeah.
Other than Baron's the only one you have to treat.
Yeah,
isn't it?
patch up. Baron needs some proper attention here.
I mean,
Start with Sir Payne. Let's see.
yeah, I've been doing pain and
Yep.
him. So
Right.
what's the one we doing?
Bards can tell the story of how you basically brought a man who like jumped off a castle wall back to like functional use of his limbs.
Mm-hmm. So first,
While
a diagnosis for how his current condition is. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. And then to attempt to treat that, which would be
I mean, that's at least the one he has. So.
it's the one he has definitely.
Damon Payne has been brought back in just 2 weeks to working condition, though he will always his legs were shattered to the point where they will never function as well as they did. So
That was a conversation to go.
you know that's of course a problem, but what can you do?
Considering he was on death's door, I've done a pretty good job. I suppose then the Iron Taker.
Yep.
How is he currently doing? Once again, my diagnosis is not doing that well on him.
Uh-huh. His Iron Lander, Iron Man physiology is throwing you off.
Like all these like this like Dornish and like Reachlanders study, like Rin's like scratching his head like
yeah.
There's just so much sinew and muscle everywhere.
But you know,
His blood is full of
scar
salt.
tissue.
Yeah.
oh,
Oh God!
one.
Help!
Wow.
Like was just noted there. He's just so full of like blood and muscle and salt. Like I can't like
That doesn't get any better then.
That does not
He's
get
still
better. That's not
badly
worse.
wounded.
It doesn't get any better.
With
Thank-
these super ones tonight. Holy moly!
Yeah.
Like,
He
there's
does not have a good time.
When I roll 5 1s, there's not a lot I can do. But hey, I've treated one person now, so
it's good thing we're not playing Shadowrun. Shit, you fucking you glitched up to hell.
That's a lot of ones, yeah. It's a lot of ones.
even
Damn.
we have a Sir Flowers who needs treating.
All right, let's take a look at.
Sir Flowers who also should have been injuries by now.
You can also do your injury. I guess Kevin can do that too, technically.
I think Varen can use his own endurance to like dismiss
You'll
the
probably
others.
just take care of those without too much of an issue.
Yeah, he can.
Let's take a look at the wounds.
Let's kill one.
It's
There
done.
we go.
Fix him up. Some tea and a few hugs.
So, yes, few hugs.
That's fairly easy with that. You know.
A slap on the butt.
So Baron is fully. The Baron is fully healed. Donald's back to power. Eric's back to
We're
power.
there to breathe.
Payne's back to power.
That is not a critical failure, technically. That's a failure by 4 instead of 5.
So she will simply remain, the infection not spreading too deep.
Thank God.
Oh God.
Remaintains her facade. It is very painful, though it helps that Mancer's no longer punching her in the arm now, since she shot him down, and she's just thinking about like how great this was, and how she's going to laugh whenever she gets back home and enjoys her bed and rubs it in her uncle's face. Like now she is a knight, and the peer of people even like Astra Tyrell, who propped his feet up on their table, so she heard. So
Well, she's gonna do that too.
that's right, she's gonna do that too. Like she's a maiden knight of Highgarden.
She's gonna get a Tyrell tabard and wear it everywhere.
Knighted by the Longthorn himself. So what you gonna do, Decim? He's like, I'm going to go paint.
I feel inspiration.
How
Ah, my niece, such a wonderful
good
font
luck,
of
old
inspiration.
how is Damon Payne feeling now? He's well, you know,
He's
back
better.
from the dead.
Yeah, he's still, contemplating things. He thought he was dead at that time. It's, strange feeling for him being back. He doesn't say too much, really. You get the feeling that he doesn't really know the others super well. It's kind of like being a group of strangers that you just kind of try to sacrifice your life to help. And
Ren did try making that
didn't
conversation.
die. So
Or try to heal
he's
him,
just
so-
sort of, yeah. I mean, while you're healing him, he will do polite conversation. Just like thanking you for your actions here, and when inquired to, he'll mostly just excuse himself, saying that this event has given him a lot to think about. This whole almost dying, being a traitor to his family and his house and his liege, but at least not to his honor.
Sure, okay.
I take it taking much more in a stride, sort of just having really accepted that now he's on this side. Perhaps it is not the first time his family has been dealing with that sort of thing. They are Iron Men after all. You won the battle. He seems to simply respect you for that. Marbrand is a little bit gloomy, though he doesn't seem to be too much of a gloomy man. Perhaps a little bit like Eden Riceley. He takes his honor seriously and his duty even more seriously. And he has, if stated that he does not worry for his house for even no matter how he acts, his house is great enough to stand on its own with or without him. He does not worry for it. While Eric Prester at this point, sees it perhaps a little more competition. He's a little young, though not as young as his mind might suggest, perhaps. He's been watching Varen, waiting for him to get better.
Of course he has.
Yeah, he knows that at some point there will be a fight between you,
Mhm.
and only one will walk away.
Oh.
So
There will be a
Seriously.
reckoning.
he'll wait. He'll bide his time. For now, he's just going with you.
There's only one more
That's
walk
the
away.
real
There's one
reason he
more-
follows.
Perhaps.
He waits. He watches.
Yep.
Time shall come.
The young red wine is perhaps a little bit awestruck. He doesn't say too much, more listening to all the things that the knights are talking about. Doesn't really get into too much. While Sarah can sometimes be heard giggling over with Everin as they're talking about this or that. Everin perhaps,
Oh.
he was never an ugly man, and he has spent some time at Highgarden. He perhaps relishing the chance to spend some time with a lady of his own age.
Like father, like son.
Well, Lady Riesling, that's not a bad match, right?
It is certainly not. No.
Oh.
Yeah, we could arrange something.
Alric looks from afar. I'm so proud of him. He's like,
Yeah, it's like, oh my god.
Just beaming at him.
He like thinks of interfering, and he's like, no.
Decim and Lena shall hear, and they shall make sure the wedding goes according.
Goes giggling to Sir Asher instead. Like,
Ashman and Alric are giggling as well.
Yeah, we're just like,
Oh, the young people. Oh, look at them.
They're not really a big house or anything, but you know they're sort of a minor house. So, you know, they are a house actually.
They are a house, yes.
they are a house, yeah.
We have
Is,
done worse.
That's
We've
good.
done worse.
Good for them to marry into the family of the Lord of the Marches, right?
Very prestigious, actually.
you know, the cousin family, but they're not
Yeah.
talking about that yet. So far, it's more like,
Nah.
you know, they're young
Nah.
people. They just sort of seem to be enjoying each other's company.
We know.
So Alaric,
Better-
of course, can.
it's better
think
than
whatever
prison.
He wants to. It is certainly better than isolation in prison. Yeah. Yeah. During this this time, you also, of course, learn that there were a few other people who sadly perished. Specifically, when the Longthorn was forced to surrender, basically with Evrin and her and Rupert as having been captured by the enemy, their life was threatened if he would not surrender. But before that, he had been fighting next to the two sons of House Bulver, whom he had with him. Basically, all these young people with him there to potentially find matches in the Westerlands. They're rich people there. It's good matches generally. Thought to be. The Reach and the Westerlands have always been allies, though it seems that always the Westerlands seem to have backstabbed the Reach. At least happened a few times historically at this point. You'd think you wouldn't be surprised, but you know. The two sons of House Bulver died yelling their words, "Death before disgrace," as they charged into the fray of, too many people for them to even hope to win. And they, of course, were horribly slaughtered, but they died with honor, and Uncle certainly intends to personally inform their families of their deed. You do reach the lands of Kees. And it is a land mostly dominated by what seems to be like small fishing villages and such. It doesn't seem particularly like grand, really. Not a whole lot of anything. Very rocky. Lots of little creeks and such. But Sir Kees certainly, when you sort of get into it, begins to talk about different aspects of the lands as he basically moves like up completely in the front, leading everyone as he talks of it, saying that even though he's wounded. He's sure that he will get better when he gets out on sea. He's looking forward to it. Perhaps driving a bit through the pain to think about it that way. He says he always was better at sea than on horseback.
sea breeze can certainly do miracles.
The suggestion from him and from Prester as well is that you should simply near the keep in the evening, get a ship and just start sailing as fast as possible without too many people really seeing you. There should probably be a ship or two just home for restocking supplies or with information of how it goes at sea. Taking one of them shouldn't be too difficult with Sir Kees actually there, giving the command to do so. Sailors could be probably procured without problem. They do manage these ships. Taking them from Kees instead of continuing on to Presta, though, gives you sort of an Iron Man galley in style. It is a long ship that has a low, very flat bottom. So it can be pulled up on beaches and whatnot, and basically dock anywhere. It has a bow that is sort of very reinforced with iron to potentially smash into ships and sort of ram them has a particular way of dealing with things. It has place for shields on the side, has a big sail, sort of an octopus-style design along the of like tentacle arms along the side, and well, right now it certainly has a Keys flag, though, or a sort of sail, though it does have a Lannister flag denoting its sort of support, its current tendency in such a way.
Yeah. That's pretty good though, because
The
if
ship
you do like meet Iron
will be stocked with travel food. In the bottom, basically, there's a bit of a false bottom, but usually you'd put ballast. But it's thought that you have enough people of like heavy armor and whatnot that it'll probably be okay. The ship is flat-bottomed enough to not really need too much of a ballast if the wind doesn't go crazy, and it generally is a ship that will stay a little close to the border of the sea, being more broad and less long than the general long ships of the Ironborn. This perhaps made a little more so that it could also be used in peacetime as a trading vessel. Maybe the real big long ships are out at sea now, or maybe House Keys just doesn't do them anymore as much, as they don't really go raiding anymore. That's not really a popular thing to do if you're a Westerlander. The general news you will get here as you sort of go, assuming you just go with that plan of just sort of getting out of here as fast as possible. You will not really enter the Keep of Keys. You will not really interact with anyone, except for a few sailors who seem to be a little bummed out that they are dragged up to sail in the middle of the night, but it doesn't seem completely unconventional. Like it's something that they have done before, probably. Perhaps being Ironborn, they also don't really seem to give that much of a damn about who you are or what you're doing here. Not really doing the customary bowing and scraping you do to a lord, more sort of angry commands to one another or what to do. Sir Keys seems, however, to have a fair bit of respect from them, and he also seems to know his way around a ship.
Well, that's good, because I sure don't.
Yes,
think
a
any
few of
of
you
us
probably
do.
haven't ever really been sailing.
I don't think Alaric would have.
I have, but
Yeah.
Not
You
willingly.
have. I was not on a long ship, certainly. I was like on a trading galley, probably. A
Yeah.
smuggler's vessel, a small galley.
Yeah.
Yes, Bree has heard that sailing is wonderful and the best form of travel.
Bree is hoping that picks up her spirits to fly as Nima did across the seas.
It is spring, but it is still cold, and certainly in the night. And out here at the coast, sort of without the Keys and Feastfire lands, which Atlantis Port, it sort of is defended by a lot of far out rock outcroppings, Casterly rock, sort of the smallest of them, protecting it from the wind that so often sort of comes around from the Iron Islands. This place here, Keys, is a very wind-blown, and certainly you also feel that when you go out to the little pier they have, where the ships are laying, very sparse. And you get on the ship. You will learn that the fact that you have a Lannister banner seems to be very necessary. If you had taken a trading ship, you would almost never have made it to Highgarden. As it turns out, the Florents, the Oakhearts, both have they declared for the Blackfire, and the Shield Isles, which traditionally host sort of half of the Reachland and Navy, the other half being at the Arbor and Old Town, has declared for the Blackfire as well. This means that what usually protects the Highgarden from invasions up through the Manda is now of the enemy, and it seems that they have been taking care of that. Not too much trading goes up to Highgarden. Whatever the people in Highgarden might need, they can surely get in other ways. The rebellion, or as they see it, the royalist fight need whatever resources these merchants carry, and well, they certainly have the ships to take them before they enter the Manda. Bringing more food from the Reach into the Westerlands to feed their army, and of course also taking it away from being brought up the Rose Road to King's Landing and the Stormlands. The two breadbaskets of the realm generally being the Riverlands, and in huge amount the Reach, producing by far the most. The Riverlands, however, are a bit in flames right now, as many houses declared for different lords, and there's not really a great deal of unity there.
As always.
Making the Reach houses a very important asset for either side to have, really, because they have supply. The journey on boat is also relatively fast. The sailors are good, and the winds are strong, sailing in this direction. The other direction, up past Feast Fires and towards the Iron Islands, would probably be a bit more of a hell to pass through. Potentially, this might be why the Lannister fleet has chosen to remain down in the southern part, leaving much of the unpopulated shore to simply be raided. The Westerlings and the people of Fair Isle really be the most hurt houses by that policy, and they are not big enough to really get much of a say. Journey's cold, it's cramped, and it is enough to probably make any of you who have not sailed before a good amount of seasick. The constant movement is not the same as riding a horse or a carriage or really anything you've necessarily tried before, and the indignity of emptying your body over the edge of the railing is diminished, as most everyone does it. Even his lordship of Tyrell is forced to, at a few points, to throw up, though he is paler than usual afterwards. It surprisingly doesn't ruin his good looks too much. The muffled hair and the sweat and whatnot. It potentially is a bit of a vulnerable side. He doesn't look like a man who is sick often, but you certainly see him in that condition. As he throws out his guts almost over the side. The sailors, of course, amused at this fact of these great knights being unable to even sail a bit on the waves. It's funny to them.
If the gods meant for man to be on the ocean, they were giving us fins. That's what Kevin believes.
Ren is being very amused at you. Very.
This also makes it very difficult for Ren to take care of Keys's wounds, as he is some of the time really too sick to do so. Then again, Keys is in his best environment, and he will instead just roll his endurance, because it doesn't actually bother him that much. He's rather used to this sort of motion.
I do still have drugs if someone needs drugs.
Keith doesn't want basic treating, so just wants natural healing.
Fine. He'll try to take care of it himself.
Okay then.
Nope, he's okay.
In which case, Ren doesn't have anyone to treat, I don't think. Because
except for maybe a Bree that might fail
Bree
by testing.
Bree is passive awareness. He doesn't know.
Bree's sickness now is totally explained by the fact that we're all sick on this boat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course she looks so roughed up and like fucking pale and sweaty and shit. It's because we're all fucking throwing up. Like his lordship, Longthorn, is throwing up.
The fact that she constantly is favoring one of her arms is
the real question is if it gets worse.
She rolled deception. She beat my passive awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Does it get worse over the week?
Due to the amount of seasickness and such, the DC will be at a moderate for this recovery. Simply because it's such an unfamiliar environment, and you don't get to sleep. You don't really get to rest. Like what Nima told you is lies. It's filthy lies.
Sure.
Sailing is horrible.
Sure. Why not
Disposition
have
has
some fun?
dropped.
Let's spend a destiny point to get a bonus die. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Destiny point hype.
You're meant to not
Oh,
grow more infection.
That is a critical failure.
Yeah, by
she's,
five.
Alright.
she's definitely meant to.
As the infection spreads.
Not good.
Bree at 3 wounds is any attempts for her to maintain the deception facade is pretty much shattered, along with her abilities to do most of her like skill checks. Like,
As you see, like the probably maybe begin to smell the wound from under her garments.
and Bree's like ruses and like facades and like her pretensions to like attempt to pay attention, they melt because she actually can't keep up the facade any longer with 3 penalty dice.
Doctor,
Yeah.
Yes.
we find her like, feverish and pale in her bed, not being able to move out of it. Or something.
Yes, our bed, or perhaps like hunched over.
You don't really
like,
have a bed as
Yeah.
much as you have like a
Hammocks.
place on the ship bottom
Yes.
floor
Yeah.
that they cover with a bit of a tarp, and then you sleep under there.
Lovely.
Yeah, they're not beds in these
Dignified.
boats. That's fancy boats. That's not what you get. That's what the Ironborn have,
Yeah.
Come over here.
but it's fast.
Kevin comes over. Yes. And or more like, yes. Oh.
My lady.
She's still aware. She has 4 dice in awareness. She knows where this is going.
Kevin looks at her and he sort of frowns. You
Oh.
look really messed up, Lady Bree. You should probably let us take care of that.
Please allow me to examine you.
Bree frowns, looks angry, but that could just be because of the ship. That could just be because of Nima's lies. That could just be because of the
There's a lot of
arms. Bree then sort of like sputters out, "It's not like I could stop you anyway."
Kevin smiles. That's right.
Kevin, help me with this.
Of course. He'll move up to assist, and then make a sort of like a face.
Take off
I see.
the bracer that has sort of kept just the infected wound, and
Mhm.
yeah.
I would like to make an
Manso, who's
immediate
like
die-
sitting here, just like lips pressed together, staring out into nothingness, pale, haven't retched up yet. Just sitting there, looks at the wound, and then he just like turns over the edge and just like smells it and just froze up. He can't get
Yes,
back.
victory!
I was going to say that he didn't best him, but no, he was barely holding on as it was already.
I have milk of the puppy if you require.
We'll see. Prodding at the wound.
Lady-
The two of you probably also getting sick at it. You're not
Yes.
that you're not that tough
Yeah,
of a
no.
stomach necessarily.
No, not great. But I'm
Brennan-
thrown up for days, so I
Ren's
don't have much more
Ren's
to
had some
throw
very
up.
minor experience with water, though this is not helping.
Yeah.
Alright,
Constant
Let's see what
salt
we can do
water.
here.
But yes, I'm going to be making an immediate diagnosis check for. Oh god.
Well,
You're like,
what had
"Ugh."
probably happened was when Rob Rain embedded his mighty longsword into Bree's shoulder, carving out like a huge hunk of it, it left a wound that Bree is kind of insensitive towards her own body, so she didn't like, and then everyone was so distracted about all these other things, and over just the weeks, she sort of looked at it, but,
As one person's healed from being almost completely dead.
Well, let's see if we can bring Bree back from.
Well, I mean, I just made my check, so it's you're gonna need another week. Like,
This
Yes.
is certainly the panic state you go as you see the shield aisles ahead. And what else you see there is what to you at least would be the biggest fleet you've ever seen of ships. Tyrell ships. These are like double-decked ships that generally have archers with fire arrows, a little fire pit in the middle, big sails, 2 masts, and all that stuff. sailing around there, just sort of keeping track of anyone or any ships that sail past these isles. You see the flags of these ones have like a big green hand that is superposed upon the flag, basically almost shoving you away with its push palm towards you. As you sail towards it, there is certainly a bit of a shouting back and forth between your ship and a few passing ships, but without your real interjection, it is handled by the people who actually know what they're doing here, Prester and Keese, and a few of the sailors who don't really have a name because yeah, you at least don't know their name. It's dumb Ironborn. Who cares? As you sail past and towards the Manda, the opening here. Here there are many villages and such. Some of them have been abandoned. Perhaps their people have been drafted. Perhaps the lack of trade now has been something. Certainly not as. I mean, this used to be like a trading place where people would trade and get on other boats that could sail up the Manda and such. Because the big ships of the Reach aren't really made for sailing in rivers like that. The flat-bottomed sort of ships of the Ironborn, though, very much are. In times past, the Ironborn controlled the Shield Isles, and the Iron Men lived there and had them basically living off of just raiding through the Manda all the way to King's Landing, where some say they would carry their ships to the Blackwater Rush and then sail out into Blackwater Bay. Ancient history now, as the Shield Isles were conquered by the Gardeners and made to be protection for the Manda, keeping it safe from such Ironborn sailors. It is perhaps the first sort of Ironborn manned ship in a long time sailing up the Manda towards Highgarden, and certainly you do get people from the sides, each side of it. It is a big river. People do, however, look at the ship with the Lannister sail and flag sailing up the Manda toward Highgarden. You, in the end, however, see Highgarden in the distance. Perhaps a more welcome sight than most have been for you in a long time. I have made Highgarden visible. If you want to go there and maybe have a bit of a culture shock. Now that you go for the enemy Westerlands to the friendly Highgarden, at least allegedly. Last time you were here, or some such. I'll just copy everyone. You were here instead.
Finally in friendly territory.
Camelot.
There'll be two of you.
Knights of the Round Table, when dance we are able.
There you go. Just put everyone down here so we can see everyone. Because, we like to have faces for all the people.
I do like faces.
As you sail up basically towards the docks here, you are met by two of the small like galleys that do patrol here. Mostly they just sort of are there to help if one of the pleasure barges burst in flame or something. But in this case, they have a few guards on them that sort of sail up to meet the ship. There once were more galleys here in ages past, but the Shield Islands and the fleet that is there has made that completely pointless, really. The Ironmen never get this far. The sight of Liu Tyrell in the stern, however, quickly turns whatever slightly anxious and confused guards there into jubilant, praising guards, who one of the ship sort of quickly turning back to inform the city of what has occurred, and another one staying around to aid you in whatever way they can. The next bit is perhaps a little bit of a daze for you. You have been traveling for so long, you have been seasick, the food has almost run out, it's been rationed. Everything has tasted of salt, and the fresh water has been just like there's not been enough of it for this travel. Really, the ship was packed very quickly in just an evening, a night, and well, it simply is just such a different place compared to the Westerlands. It is not hilly at all. What you see is the beautiful flowery fields of Highgarden, the golden roses covering the white stone, the fragrance of them just like filling your nostrils as you're brought in and quickly just brought to nice, wonderful rooms, split up from one another for a time. You have food, you have wine, but there will be a few days for you to basically recuperate before anything more will be asked of you as the Longthorn is home and is spending a day or two bringing that to everyone's attention, so that he can gather his people and well, make sure that everything is as it should be.
I imagine he's gonna be like, well, guess what? We have some work to do.
So what have you kids been up to while I've been in the Westerlands? They're like, oh, shit.
Being kidnapped.
Kidnapped, and you guys did nothing.
One of you from your tower in the night may see like a horse the same night, like hasting out of either Highgarden, as Lord Hightower is sent back home.
Get out.
So from his work here, it's done allegedly.
Well, looking forward to all the official recognition we're gonna get. Yes. Right.
With the aid of the people here in Highgarden, with a bit of a few days here, does Ren insist on taking care of Bree?
I mean, if Highgarden has a maester,
They do. They have a couple maesters.
Yeah, they have a couple of maesters. He would, he started this, so he would at least want to be trying, he would at least trying to, aid in her treatment if he's able to. Of course, if Bree, says no, well, not a whole lot he can
The
do.
maesters are maesters,
That's also
and
true.
will simply request that you deliver her to their machinations in their like maester room.
It's a
It's up to
important
Bree.
question. Does the Maester Room have milk of the poppy?
Yes, definitely.
Bree, 110% on board.
Don't
Well-
have to feel the pain.
Right.
A barrel of it.
In which case, I suppose Ren will deliver her there and just tell the maesters what he diagnosed.
Sure, they will.
then-
They will
that's what you
snappishly. They will snappishly thank him, though he understands that they will, of course, not use any of it because they're maesters and they know better.
She
And then they
dies.
will do their book learning. Yeah, then they'll do their book learning of doing it by the book. There's like 3 of them working together here, so
They do have
Triple-
assist bonus. They do have assist bonuses I can't match.
triple maester power.
yeah,
But they at least
are
3 times the
fairly
leeches,
good.
right?
They're not really of the leeching variety here. They're
What?
more of the milk of the poppy variety.
So you can't
What you
trust
need
these
is
maesters.
relaxation and just feel good.
No, I don't think you're good about this at all.
It's
Maester
our
Cole
house
laughs at
that
these.
it's our house that has the fucking awful cruel maester, like
No.
every other house, like Wyronwood, like the High
What?
Garden. Fuck
You
you! I have
are-
a trio of maesters, like smothering my body in milk of the poppy. Free,
Oh.
0 complaints.
I don't like this.
Yeah,
I
they
don't like
give
this at
you
all.
a
I don't
nice
trust these
medicine
people.
mix against the of some sort of poultice on the wound and like some honey and basically wine mixed up in like a semi-thick liquid that you're supposed to drink because they believe that giving the body energy and sort of helping it do things by itself as well.
Oh, she complies fully. Like
She gets pretty drunk on the honey and wine mix then,
I-
which they believe is a good for the health of the individual.
Of course.
There's a reason they're here, after all.
Oh, Maester Cole, how we miss you.
you know, Bree used to have problems and complaints and was upset, but it all just melts away. It's all just like some sort of horrible nightmare that will fade
You
forever.
go to see her, she's just sort of laying there high and drunk. Smelling
Frown.
smelling
Like-
like
You know,
poultice and incense and whatnot.
That's what I'm trying to talk to her like that once.
Yeah, it did. That was a weird conversation.
And they will basically deal with her wounds for now. Though I suppose she will not really be ready for the first immediate meeting.
Too drunk and high for it.
Bree's not even mad about that. Like,
She wouldn't be, would she?
No.
Oh, it's all fine. Maybe it's even better to not feel hurt and even feel comfortable after like so long.
That's right.
Just
It's like
pain.
Longthorn promised that he'd take care of her, and this is clearly what he meant right now. Like, this is the best gift ever.
All the drugs.
Or the drugs go.
Alaric will be delivered something.
Beautiful. Or was
For
it?
him.
I was going to say that Alaric would send a letter to.
Alaric has received a letter, or they have received a letter, because where else would they send it?
It's true.
That is allegedly from Respite, at least.
Allegedly.
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 Well, that's the seal says on it. They haven't opened it for you.
All right.
But
Presumably.
it's Caladan seal, and it's for Sir Alaric, commander of the marshes. Of course, Alaric can have a page read it for him.
No, it's fine. I can
can
read.
read.
Fuck him.
If he so requires.
Fuck the page. Fuck off, page. I can read now.
And I'm
That's
sure
right.
whoever wrote it made sure to use small words that Albert can read.
Yes, very simple words.
Alaric reads
You
all the
need
big
home
fancy
now.
words. He knows the fancy words now. He only knew a few words, but yes. Anyway, the letter.
I'm so proud of him.
Yes. All right. So I will read. Basically, it starts by saying, Sir Alaric, commander of the marshes. Much has changed since your departure. The war has reached the marshes, and brigands are once again a problem across the land. The vultures have left the roost. There has been a battle in the Prince's Pass. Karen forces managed to stall them, but it is only a matter of time before they lay siege to Nightsong. Lord Lanus Caladan, Lord of the Marshes, has issued a call to arms. The rally point is at Millstead Hall. The vultures have small bands of men burning and plundering all they find. Due to the number of men who left to join the northern hosts, patrols are few. If you come, be on your guard. Few Stormlords remain in the marshes. Lord Lanus will lead the host himself in your absence. With the aid of Peaceberry and Trent, some amount of substance has been made. Soon the enemy shall know the truth of our words. Be wreathed in flames, Decim Caladan.
Alaric,
The letter was received a few weeks ago.
a few
Okay,
weeks
we need
ago. Oh.
we need to move.
Yeah, but Alaric has got a duty to Bree as well, so.
Beyond that, everyone, supposedly excluding Bree,
Woo!
she would get an invitation, but it would be the Maesters would probably advise that it would not be responsible. And
Alaric shall allow it this one time.
Lord Tyrell, Lord Tyrell wants, he doesn't want to put too much strain on his maiden knight right now. And maybe she doesn't really have too much of she can fight, that's proven, but she might be a little too young for tactical discussion of this proportion. But the rest of you certainly will be asked to join.
This was the grand strategy all along, like the master plan to get out of the tactical meeting.
These people, however, are not joining because they are Westerlanders and they don't get to have a say.
They should come with us to Caladan. We need these people.
That's right. That's right.
Westlander.
That's right, Everin. You're a Westerlander.
Alaric will fucking.
Well, these two don't really sit on the council. They have
they're
been
lost
lodged
in the
here, and they've been saved by you. And,
I think they're lost in this hedge maze.
Yes.
they get to go and
Frolic in the
he
field.
has to watch horses and whatnot.
Frolic in the field, yes. It's that terrible scene from episode 2. Oh,
Big assed animals and whatnot.
yeah, big assed animals.
Ashra will sit next to Longthorn, of course.
Uh, Ah.
I will sit here. He is my friend.
Longthorn will look to
No.
Alaric actually, and ask if Alaric would wish to sit to his left.
Oh,
Oh, such an
I
honor.
will. Thank you.
Oh.
He obviously doesn't say it like that.
Just
Dorian's
the
like,
elbow in the side of Baron Flowers, like, oof.
Baron's just on the
Brendan-
table at this point. Like, what do I do? What do I do?
Of course, as soon as Alaric sits there, Ren has to like nudge over a tiny bit because
I'll
there's no
just
longer
sit
enough
over
elbow
here,
room.
like, facing Longthorn instead.
Just like right on. Yeah.
You want to fight Manser for the seat?
Yeah.
Nah.
It seems that in the few days, basically, it hasn't really been possible for Longthorn to dig up further people than you. Perhaps they have been actually doing stuff at the place where they live instead of just hanging out at the Regency. Current that was going on at High Garden.